I had to come up with a catchy title for this week's Broker Minute or Two with all of the exposed nerves in regards to new documents. I figured this would get your attention. No, it's not a national settlement document. No, it's not a form from UAR or the DRE, but it's kind of related in a way. So, listen, we've had a number of issues regarding transactions closing, and because of the national settlement and commissions, compensations, and other things, we are working on and drafting a what will be known as a transaction summary sheet. So a lot of companies have these. We had them at C21 Everest when I was principal broker there. I know companies like Coldwell Banker, KW, they have them as well. There's a reason they have them because they tend to be helpful. And it's time for us to uh, make a very simple change, a document that will help at the end of the transaction, right? We all have transaction fatigue at the end. And when some of the financial things get messed up at the end, it tends to have a higher probability of becoming inflammatory and ending all of the hard work that we have put in with our clients and a deal and ending on a little bit of a sour note. And in addition, it creates challenges for the staff, for title, for the lenders, etc. So, in this transaction sheet, the general concept is we are going to call out, there will be several sections, and I'm just going to go through them, not in exhaustive detail, but just in concept. The first section is going to be what the expectations are on commissions. So, for instance, if you're getting compensation by way of a transaction, a broker compensation agreement, or if compensation is taken care of in the REPC, and how that is verified against, in this case, like a buyer broker agreement to make sure it doesn't exceed. We'll have the appropriate sections so you as the agent can just quickly write in the numbers and essentially initial or sign off saying, yes, this is in agreement with what is in our transaction. Because what happens is, you know, and nobody's at fault here. It's just something that needs to be cleaned up. But we sometimes kick the can down the road, pitch it over the fence. I'm trying to think of other metaphors, to the lender, to title, and we hope they get it right. And when it doesn't, sometimes it's after the deal closes, and that's muddy and hurt feelings. So this is just a way to head all of that off at the pass. So we'll have a section to clearly document, articulate what the compensation is, both for the lender. So as they go through underwriting, and that dovetails into settlement statements, the information will be correct, and we limit the amount of times we have to go back and correct that information. There will be a section in regards to HOA. If you think of your Section 4 items outside of the commissions, assessments, transfer fees, etc. And this really comes into play when we deal with builder contracts a lot of times, because they typically don't use the state form. It's easier for us to look in the state form because we know, we look at Section 4, that's where that stuff is. But in a builder's contract, all bets are off. You get to sort through 20, 30 pages of their document, hopefully, and find the information. And to think lending or title is going to do that, probably not a good move on our part. Home warranties. And then at the bottom section, there's going to be a little bit of an education piece so that when lending and or title gets this from me, the principal broker, there's going to be some things that we want to help clean up, not only for our company, but some things that are just carryovers from things in days past. Let me give you a simple example. If you look at our ERS or our EBB, Section 2, brokerage fee, also known as compensation, you cannot find in there the words transaction fee. And so we get not from Metro, because they're trained well, but we get from other title companies. We're paying 3% and a transaction fee of $295. First of all, that's an invented term. There is no such thing. But they do that because 10, 15 years ago, that was a thing. Certain lawsuits came about, and not only did UAR change it, but other companies, so they wouldn't be sued. It was like, no, we really need to put all compensation under the umbrella of compensation, not compensation and a transaction fee. And not only that, the public is kind of attuned to when you use the term transaction fee. A lot of them think junk fee. Then we get into debates and arguments whether that needs to, should be paid, et cetera, et cetera. So this education portion at the bottom from me to the corresponding title companies and lenders will call out things like that. Please do not record our compensation as anything but brokerage fee. If you need to make two entries for the percentage and the dollar amount, fine, but they're both labeled brokerage fee. So there will be a few things like that to help, hopefully, as we go forward in 2025, have smoother transactions, especially at the tail end when it is most crucial. The last thought on this is the prevailing thought is that this document, it will be a required document. It's not that big of a deal. It's information that you can very quickly write down and sign off on and get it into SkySlope. But we're probably going to want that turned in by, say, for instance, like the due diligence deadline on a transaction, because we know right after that is the finance, or not right after, but at some time after that, in most cases, is the finance deadline. And so this information is vital to get both to the lender and to title. So that's why the timeline for that. As is usual, I hope this information is helpful for you. If there are suggestions of anything related to that document, something you'd like to see, or if you have a strong opinion about timeline or anything like that, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, I hope your 2025 is getting off to a great start. Talk soon.